What up, Butterfly Brigade? It is Dr. Kathleen Nash with Total Transformation, and in this video, I'm going to share some information about scale weight with you that hopefully will take some of the stress of going through a weight loss program out of your life, will help explain why so many of us use scale weight as a method of determining progress, why it is not always the best method, and what you should be looking for when you're weighing yourself to make sure that you're on point, you're on target, you're getting the results you want, but you're not going crazy when the number bounces up and down. So stay tuned. Okay, so in order for me to do this, I literally had to draw something for you guys to help you understand the concept of scale weight when it comes to fat loss. So if you guys don't mind, it's about 4 or 4:30, and I got my lunch way back at 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I still haven't had a chance to finish it all. So I'm probably going to be eating a little bit while I'm talking to you. So we're gonna kind of turn this into a little bit of a mukbang channel for just a second. Oh my God. That totally reminds me. Let me talk to you about that. So let's say that you're just like one of my regular private clients or somebody that watches me for weight loss or whatever, and I just said a word that you didn't understand, right? So I said this word right here. Okay, so that is a Korean word, and if you're familiar with YouTube and you're familiar with this kind of channel, then great. But for those of you that aren't, what that word means is eating room. Okay, so this is something that started up in Korea, I don't know, a few years ago. Koreans started doing it because they work long hours. A lot of times they work alone, or they live alone, or they're working at school, or they're doing university. Like, they're very, very driven people, spend a lot of time alone, and they would eat alone. And so for those people that would be eating alone, and they didn't like that because Korea is very, they're into family and groups of people and stuff. Not that we all aren't, but Koreans just are really, really like socially kind of big people. They didn't want to eat alone. And so this trend came along where people would eat food in front of the camera, and they would just talk and eat the food. And that way you could watch the video while you were eating your food, and it was like you were eating with somebody.
Oh, 맛있겠다, 맛있겠다. 맛있겠다, 맛있겠다. 다 먹을 거야.
Americans somehow heard about this trend, this type of thing to do, and we started creating videos on YouTube as well. And there's actually several really big channels where people will just now eat food in front of the camera. We don't necessarily do it because we're looking for somebody to eat with. We do it because we like to watch people eat huge amounts of food on a camera. But the reason that I'm going, oh my God, is because nobody that I've ever seen who lives in America, unless they're from Korea, says the word right. I've seen fitness influencers say it wrong. I've seen weight loss channels say it wrong. I've seen people that actually do this as a YouTube channel and make a lot of money say it wrong.
Mukbang, whatever.
Mukbang, I'm never gonna say it right.
Today I'm doing a mukbang. Mukbang. It's mukbang.
What are we saying? Mukbang.
One,
It's not a mukbang.
Mukbang. Mukbang.
Mukbang or mukbang?
I think I say it wrong. Mukbang? I say mukbang, but I think it's mukbang. I don't know.
Once and for all, this has nothing to do with weight loss. This has nothing to do with correcting metabolism or any of that. What I'm gonna do is show you guys how to say the word so that you will be in the know. You will always know how to say it, because I promise you, if you say mukbang or mukbang or mokbing or bing bong or whatever the hell you say in front of a Korean, you say mukbang in front of a Korean, they are not gonna know what you're talking about. They are definitely gonna look at you like a dog that just heard a high whistly sound. When we take this word, which is in Hangul, right, that's the name of the Korean alphabet, and we translate it into Romanized alphabet, which is what we use for English, it looks like this. Okay, so if we use our English pronunciation with that Romanized spelling, it comes out mukbang. We would say mukbang, right? But that's because Hangul doesn't translate very well into English all the time. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. The first part of the word, which is this, okay, is part of the verb to eat, all right? And this part of the word is pronounced like the mok in mocha. So if you hear the word mocha and you take the off, then you have mo, right? If I said it in true English, it would be moke, okay? But we're not gonna say moke, we're gonna say mo, right? So that G and that K sound is there a little bit, okay? So just think of the moke and mocha. Phone's always ringing here, folks. The second word is this, okay, or the second syllable, right? But in Korean, it's called word, right? The second word is this, and it's an actual word in Korean, and the word is bong, right? So think of like the bong in bongos, okay? Bong means room, and you have to be careful when you say bong, because if you put a little bit more emphasis on that B and you say bang, that means bread. So bang, 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 bang. Very, very small, minute difference, but a Korean can hear it, okay? So bang means room, mok means eat. So it's eating room, okay? And so when we put those words together, just like in Sesame Street, you guys ever watch Sesame Street where they would do something like gravel, 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 gravel. Remember when they would do that? You do the same thing. Mukbang, mukbang. Mukbang, 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 mukbang. The way you say that word is mukbang, okay? If you ever watch any of the Korean versions, which I'm sure you guys probably don't unless you're super into Korea, you'd hear them say mukbang all the time. And if you say the word mukbang to a Korean, they are going to exactly 100% know what you are saying. You will save your reputation on YouTube. You will be living that thug life because you're like the only one in America that does that channel and says it properly. If any of you guys know anybody that actually says mukbang right and they're not Korean, you know, leave a comment below, let me know who they are, because everybody else that I find, they can't say it. On to, so my mukbang, so let me show you my mukbang just for a second. I had already had breakfast this morning, something like, I don't know, 8:30, 9, I had it at 9, like 9:30. I went to Starbucks, I got me some sous vide egg bites because I love me some sous vide egg bites. It's super, super easy. And then, you know, 2 o'clock rolls around, I haven't eaten yet, so it's time for me to get something. I was hoping to go home and have something at home, but I got backlogged and couldn't do that. And then I remembered Fixate Cafe. And Fixate Cafe here in the Las Vegas Valley is awesome. Now they're really geared more for like, weight training and you know, like bodybuilding style kind of food, but they totally work with the way I want to eat, especially right now because I'm bringing my protein levels up a little bit because I am weight training more. So whenever I do more weight training in the gym, less cardio, more weight training, I'm always going to bring my protein up to help protect my lean muscle mass, help my body figure out that I want it to burn fat, not want it to burn muscle. I want that muscle to repair. Also, protein is very satiating. Protein has essential amino acids that I want. Protein is a wonderful thing. I don't always eat a lot of it, but I am right now. As a result, I went to the Fixate on Eastern I went to the Fixate on Stephanie and 215. I will put a link to their website in the description box if you're in the Las Vegas Valley. They're not paying me anything, full disclaimer. They don't even know who the heck I am, but I do love going there because when you order food from there, you can order it clean. They measure it for you, so you can get the exact right measurements that you want. So if I had thought, sorry, my arm's getting tired. I had worked out shoulders and arms, so my arms are tired. If I had thought about it, I would have taken a picture before I started eating it, but I didn't think about it. But what I ended up getting was 6 ounces of garlic steak, and then I had a side of grilled mushrooms, and then I had steamed broccoli. So I had steamed broccoli, grilled mushrooms, and 6 ounces of garlic steak. I still have my steak is left. So just so you guys know, like it's now 4:36, right? And I still have this much steak to eat and like this tiny little mushroom here. It is ice cold, you guys. I probably should reheat it, but I'm bored and I'm not going to. So whatever. And then the second thing that I got, which I'd never seen before, is a 1 basic. So I've seen the 1 bars before, and the 1 bars are really good, but I don't eat them a whole lot because I think there's 20 some odd grams of carbohydrate in it, and it's kind of like a grain-based carbohydrate, which means it's fast acting, it's gonna promote insulin. I don't like making insulin show up a whole lot. I'm not a keto person by any means, but I am very particular about insulin and when insulin is allowed to come into my bloodstream. And I really didn't want insulin coming in most of the time, so I normally don't get the 1 bar, but I have had them in the past and they're actually quite yummy. But today I saw this new one. I'd never seen this one before. So this 1 basic, and the taste of it, and the flavor of it is peanut butter chocolate chunk. And that sounded really good. And I think what we're trying to say is that it's basic ingredients, clean ingredients. You see that they're saying it's gluten-free and that it's sweetened with stevia. So just more natural, cleaner ingredients. However, let's take a look at the macros on it. So, you know, 1 bar is 220 calories. It only has 9 grams of fat, no sugar alcohol, no added sugar, so it just has 1 gram of sugar in it, but it has 24 grams of carbohydrate and it has 20 grams of protein. So I mean, honestly, the macros are really, really good. And considering that what I ate for the rest of my lunch was broccoli and mushrooms, it wasn't like I was getting a lot of carbohydrate here, so I thought I would splurge and give this a try. I only have had about 1 bite of it. It has kind of an aftertaste that I'm not super fond of, so I don't know if I'm actually going to finish it. If you guys have ever tried one of these, or if you eat protein bars, or if you eat meal replacement bars, you know, if you think you know a good one that maybe you want to tell me about, let me know, especially if it's lower in carbs. I'm not a big carb person in a protein bar, so if you know of one and you know, you want to help me out, help a butterfly out, right? And tell me what they are. So while I sit here and finish off my garlic steak from Fix8, I'm going to talk about scale weight. And the reason I'm talking about scale weight is by far scale weight has to be the most frustrating thing in our lives when we are going through a weight loss program, or anytime that we're trying to either change our weight, change our body composition, we're trying to make some kind of a dietary change. Certainly it's a big thorn in the side of many of my private clients too, because one of the things that I tell my private clients is that my private clients potentially see weight loss between 3 to 7 pounds a week on average, okay? So, and that's true. 65% of my clients see 3 to 7 pounds a week. 15% of my private clients will see a pound a day or more. And 20% of my clients will see less than 3 pounds a week. And that's usually because they are being non-compliant. They either have something in the metabolism that's so jacked up that I couldn't see it on the evaluation, so I couldn't help them. But 95% of the people that are getting lackluster results in my program are getting it because they're non-compliant. They're not understanding that that metabolic damage has serious consequences if you deviate from the program, okay? But regardless, all of my private clients have to measure, they have to weigh themselves, and they have to weigh themselves every day. Now, I encourage them to look at their measurements in different ways as well, take pictures, do tape measurements. You can do fat percentages if you want, right? Look the way your clothes fit, the way you're feeling, how your memory is, how you're sleeping, you know, how your energy levels. Look at all these other issues, but we do look at scale weight, and they can potentially get frustrated whenever they see the line go sideways, and chances are you're the same way, right? So let's say you're doing everything right, you've either created a program of your own, or you're doing one of my programs, or you're doing some custom program, whatever, you're doing a program to lose weight. And what you see is that, you know, you lose weight pretty consistently for a couple days, and then it starts going sideways, or it starts going up. So when my private clients deal with this, and I see people deal with it all over the place, they literally freak. Okay, oh my God, it's gone, it stayed the same for 3 days straight. Oh my God, I gained a pound. What the hell? What's wrong? And they literally lose their mind.
Crazy? Oh, am I out of my mind? Am I losing my senses?
Because that scale didn't move in the direction that they wanted to. I have several videos in my library of other people, fitness professionals, fitness influencers, doctors, telling people that the scale's not that big of a deal. Don't sweat it if it doesn't move the same way every day. But that just, for whatever reason, that just doesn't seem to be enough. You know, when you're swimming in it, you know, it's one thing to hear it when you're not struggling with losing weight or you're not struggling with the way the number is moving on the scale. But when you are struggling with how the number is moving on the scale, it really flips you out and freaks you out. In order to help you understand what the body is doing and what you need to look for, I had to draw a picture. What y'all think? Pretty sexy, right? Look at my ball, you guys. Look at the best ball. I cannot tell you how proud and happy I am that I drew a ball this well. I don't know why, but this is a ball bouncing down the stairs. It took me 20 minutes looking all over the internet to try to find an actual ball bouncing down the stairs, but unless I wanted to steal it, I couldn't find a good video, so I just took a picture of it and used some stock footage that you're probably seeing here because I just like the idea of balls bouncing around. If we look at the front of that picture, it says high weight or start, right? So this is where we're at when we're starting the diet, right? We're at our highest weight for the start of that diet. Doesn't mean our highest weight ever, but highest weight when we're starting the diet. And what do we see? We see that initially that number goes down and it's consistently going down, right? And then we hit something called a new low weight. If you watch any kind of physique competitor, fitness competitor, and I don't expect that you do, but I do, okay? They say when they're doing competition preparation or if they're doing what they call a cut, which is a diet focusing on keeping their physique and looking shredded and all those cool things that fitness competitors say, they'll say, I hit a new low weigh-in, right? And that's what they're talking about. The new low weigh-in means this is the lowest number in the diet so far that I've hit. This is my lowest number so far, right? But then what happens after in my diagram? And what happens to a bouncing ball? If I throw a ball down the stairs, when it hits one of the steps, what's it going to do? It's going to bounce back up, right? Now, depending upon the force, no, honestly, I don't think it ever matters. Depending upon the force will depend on how high it bounces up, but it will almost never bounce as high up as its initial starting point, right? So if it started up here and I throw it, even if I throw it hard and it bounces and it hits that low weigh-in or it hits that platform, that step, it's going to bounce maybe back up to here, right? Not as high as when I started, here, okay? That's the bounce, right? That the ball will do. And that is the bounce that you are going to have on the scale, okay? The body is never going to do a ski slope. Wait a minute. I think it's this way, right? The body's never going to do a ski slope all the way down. It's never going to consistently lose weight every single day. The amount of effort that you'd have to put in to get the body to do that would increase so much exponentially as you went down that you would not be able to sustain it, okay? The body is always going to have what we would call a trend. It's going to hit a lower low and a lower high and a lower low and a lower high. That would be the trend if it's going down, okay? I like to use the bouncing ball thing. That helps me see it so that when I hit a new low number in a cut or in a diet or in a program, a reduced phase, and then it goes back up, I know what I tell myself is I'm in the bounce. We're just in the bounce. Now, what causes the bounce? It could be any number of things, especially if you're a woman. Hormones, not just dietary hormones. Cortisol, you could be stressed out. Insulin, you might have ate something with a little bit of extra carbs. Ghrelin, you might have had some hunger pangs and so you decided to eat more. You could have water retention. Just 1 gallon of water weighs 8.5 pounds. If you drank water late in the day, you could still be holding onto that water the next day when you pee. Some food might cause a water retention reaction. Some food might cause a release of water. You might have poop in the colon. You need to take a poop, right? You might have undigested food from your last meal. It just could be Wednesday. Like, seriously, so many things will impact the scale weight that you really don't want to let it stress you out when it doesn't go down every single day. If your energy intake is where it's supposed to be, and if any activity that you're choosing to do or have been recommended to do or told to do by your coach or by yourself or by me or whoever, if you're doing that, if your water intake is where it should be, if your supplement intake is where it should be, then it's the likelihood that it's body fat is negative. Like it's literally negligible. That's not body fat when you see the bounce. It's water, it's hormone, it's poop, it's food, it's stress. It's something there, okay? And the body's gonna bounce, and then it's gonna start coming back down, and it'll hit another new low weigh-in, okay? And so what I would highly recommend you do, one, should you weigh yourself every day? Yes, I say yes, okay? I know that that can be negative, but it's negative unless you look at it like this. If you just know you're in the bounce, who cares? As long as that bounce back up doesn't go as high as your highest weight, then you're fine, right? So if you hit a number, let's say that you hit 155 and then it goes down to 154.2 and then it goes down to 153.5 and then it goes back up to 154. Well, okay, as long as it doesn't go back up to where that highest number was, you're golden. Ride the bounce, let it do its thing. It's gonna come back down as long as you're consistent. Now, if you're goofing off from day to day, if you're adding things that you shouldn't, if you're eating a bite of this or that, okay, if you're on my program, that's death because I'm going after metabolic damage. I'm trying to correct hormones, hypertension, thyroid conditions, and food has a dramatic impact on those, different from just eating less and moving more. So on my program, you don't want to eat a bite of this and that because it can cause a chemical reaction that can make that bounce go crazy. But if you're doing everything right, you're doing everything that I say, you're doing everything that you've created for yourself if it's your own program, you're doing everything that your coach says or whatever, then it's just a bounce. And it's going to come back down. And if you look at it that way, we would measure you every day so that we can see, well, what kind of bounce do you have? What kind of bounce does your ball have? Do you, especially women, 1 week out of the month, our ball's going to bounce in ways that we would never expect, it's going to behave completely irrational. Why? Because women are emotional creatures and we behave completely irrational. Okay? I mean, if you track it, if you plot it, then you'll see it. And once you see it and you identify the pattern, then the pattern doesn't have that hold on you anymore. It doesn't cause you that stress anymore. Don't let the bouncing ball stress you out as long as the trend line is going down. The difference between the lowest low and the lower high, that space right here, is just water, hormones, stress, food, or poop, okay? But the trend is showing you the fat loss, and that's what you want to see. So I hope this gives you a little bit more peace of mind, a little more, sense of security. Don't let the bounces scare you. Recognize them for what they are. They're a bounce. As long as you stay consistent, you're going to be like a fitness competitor and you're going to hit a new low weigh-in. And every time you hit that new low weigh-in, you know that it's because of body fat, because you're getting better, because you're correcting metabolic damage, and you're on your way to being a healthier version of you. All right, my butterflies, that is it for this video. Thank you for sticking it out to the very end. I'm always so loving and so grateful that you did that for me. Remember, if you want to make sure that you're getting all the information on what you need to do to potentially lose 3 to 7 pounds a week on average, get rid of metabolic damage, get off medications, and maintain your weight eating up to 3,000 calories a day, all you've got to do is check me out at drnash.com. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss whenever I release to you a new video. But YouTube sometimes lets you know and sometimes doesn't. So also make sure you hit that notification bell so that you always have the deets on permanent weight loss. I'll see you in the next video, butterflies. Bye-bye.